Good afternoon. Kurt Jem with Century Commercial. I'm here with Adam Taylor, owner and CEO of Splendor Design Group. We're going to call this the New Norm Reboot. So Adam was with us a couple weeks ago, and we thought that we'd circle back and talk a little bit about how social media is playing a role in our day-to-day businesses and how we are using it to grow and create engagement across our industry in the commercial real estate space, as well as investment real estate. So I wanted to bring Adam back because his company, Splendor Design Group, located down in Red Bank, New Jersey, is a company we use to drive branding and social media. And I wanted to give Adam an opportunity to touch on what he's seeing in that space. And we can certainly talk about, pre-crisis and today, because I think that's changed a little bit, and some of the things that he's using to drive attention and engagement. And we can talk about engagement, what engagement looks like. So welcome, Adam. I appreciate you taking the time today to swing back in and talk a little social media with us.
Yeah, glad to. Thanks for having me back. Good to chat with you as always. So yeah, you and I talked a little bit about what the social media universe looked like pre-COVID, and maybe what it looks like now in comparison, now that there's this new norm, new environment. And so commercial real estate has had this negative stigma for a while, that it's sort of slow to adapt and slow to adopt new technology. And it's one of the topics we talked about last time. And social media, understandably, is a little bit abstract of a concept for people who aren't as tech savvy to kind of appreciate and understand how it impacts their operations. But make no mistake, it's a rocketing platform for communication, and it's not just a one-way monologue blast out into the ether. It really is social by nature, meaning the two-way dialogue and the interaction and the engagement and management of your conversations and all that sort of thing is such a huge piece of what makes social media effective when it's effective. And it's a huge missing link for anyone who's struggling to make it work for their business or their operations or efforts. I think it really does fall back to how relationships have now evolved into the digital space, but how relationships have always been. And it's very much about paying attention, listening, observing, making notes about. If I wanted to seek someone like yourself out on social media, I would do a little bit of research up front, and I would say, what makes Kurt tick? Where did he work? What are his interests? What has he accomplished in his career? What are his coworkers publishing that he's interested in and commenting on? What are his clients talking about? Kind of get a feel for what drives you in your own social activities. So then when I go to engage with you in social media, I have something relevant to say that you're going to have a response to or an opinion about. And that's really the way you build any relationship, offline or online.
Sure. It makes a lot of sense. I think, you're talking about obviously hitting it at the human level. And I think, the quick like and share idea of that being engagement is really, a misnomer. And certainly the way, Instagram and Facebook and LinkedIn create these algorithms, that is not really what we've seen, so we're challenged to take it a little bit further. We encourage the people that work with us, our team, to engage and put the human touch to it. So talk about engagement. What does engagement mean? How are you driving engagement for our company? And where do you see the opportunity in going deeper at that human level, which is what you talked about?
Yeah, very much about the human level. So it's about finding, like I said, sort of that common ground or that topic of interest. It's not a one-way monologue. The other thing to think about is that it's noisy out there, right? There's so much information flooding all these different media channels and sources all day long. So how on earth are you going to catch someone's attention and say something interesting or important to them to get their attention, to stop their infinite scroll up and down their devices, and get them to pause for a second and pay attention to what you have to say. So that's kind of where your brand really comes in, because your brand is your unique voice, your unique personality, your unique position and opinion on things. And that's the one in social media, the one thing that you can truly own is your brand, is your position, your opinion, and that sort of thing. Because the truth is, all the algorithms and the the population of your feed with different topics based on this and that stuff is all eventually going to go, in my opinion, pretty AI intensive, right? So the artificial intelligence of LinkedIn or of Facebook or Instagram or whatever, wherever you are spending your time, those very sophisticated technology platforms are going to basically say, we know exactly who you are. We've studied your behaviors. We've studied your habits and the posts and the actions that you've taken and interacted with. Now we're going to show you exactly what the math, right, the formulas tell us you're interested in. Eventually, all of that stuff is going to be very even across the playing field. So it's much, much less about, do you have the most advanced tech or algorithms to determine what people are going to react to, or this or that. And again, it comes back to that human piece of it, to say, if everybody's got the same tech and artificial intelligence can predict what posts are going to resonate with you and you're going to comment and like and share on, what remains when all of that leveling dust settles is what you've actually got to say at the core. And that is not something, in my opinion, that I've seen fabricated artificially at this point. It's very much about the person-to-person interaction. So that's one of the most interesting, in my opinion, sort of future trends you're going to start to see, is that the tech is going to level out. Everybody's going to have the access to all the same tools. And what's left is what you have to say and how creatively you can position that in a way to engage people. And again, we're a branding marketing firm. We believe very strongly that your brand and your message is really what it's all about. So when everything else is even and level, the one advantage you've got is how creatively you can present your message. And some people are naturals at it. Some people are just, they've got charisma, they've got great reputation and great relationship building skills.
Sure.
Those people you can see currently, and even before COVID, they were already doing pretty well on social because they just know people, they know how to interact with people. The ones who were not maybe as savvy as that or knew that they needed to step up a little bit, now's the time. So you can see some of these people getting more interactive on social media platforms with their posts, with their shares, with their likes, and so forth.
Yep. Yeah. Interesting. I know we haven't, as a company, we haven't done much in the way of paid sort of promotion via the social media platforms. Most of our stuff has been organic and engagement. What do you see, or how do you feel about the paid side of things? When you take Google AdWords or LinkedIn stories. I'm not sorry, LinkedIn posts and you got Instagram stories, and you can boost your advertisement on Facebook. Talk about the paid space.
Yeah.
How is that affecting the day-to-day, and where do you think it's going? Because frankly, it's a discussion that I'd like to have with you offline,
right,
to see how do we effectively roll that plan, and do you need to spend much by the way of dollars to get it initiated? So yeah. What are your thoughts on that paid space?
So, as it just so happens, coincidentally, we had done a number of posts. This was 2 or 3 years ago, before we had met Mark Duclos from Century, and we had just sort of decided, listen, this is really truly us. This is our authentic message in this post and in this post and this post. Why don't we put a little money behind one of these and boost it so that people outside of my own circle may see it? And if it resonates with someone, that's great. And it's not largely expensive. I think we probably put a max cap of about $500 a month on some LinkedIn ads. And within 2 months, I got an in-mail message from Mark to say, "Hey, I saw your post. Resonated with me. Let's get on a call and talk." $500, and going on nearly 3 years later, working with Century, the Splendor Century relationship has been really, really fruitful, and not only just in the work that we're doing with you, but in connections we've made and so on and so forth. So there's the proof in the pudding right there that,
Sure.
that without a massive spend, and without, we do a lot of very conceptual, creative advertising, headlines and concepts and ads and that sort of thing. But the post, if I recall correctly, that engaged Mark Duclos was just one of our normal organic LinkedIn posts about our expertise or about a project that we had completed in the commercial real estate space. Let's put a few dollars behind it. And so here's the key: is all of your organic posting has this very interesting potential to reach. I'll put something out, Kurt, you're going to see it, you're going to like it or comment on it, and then someone in your circle may see it and comment and like on it. And eventually your net becomes a little bit wider and you can reach more people. But that is a very slow and organic way to do it, which is fine because you don't put any money behind it. It's not costing you anything other than your time to publish it. But where you can really step on the gas pedal is to put $300 or $500 a month behind some of these posts. And now, and by the way, these social media demographic building tools in LinkedIn and Facebook and so forth are incredibly powerful in terms of how specific you can get. I only want to show this message to CMOs, or I only want to show it to professionals in the commercial real estate industry, or that sort of thing. And I can just spend my money to get my ad in front of those professionals. And now it's not just my friends and their friends. It's anyone within this demographic that I've built based on position or by company. I can say I only want to show it to a JLL or someone like that.
Sure, makes sense.
And geographically, I don't want to target people in Nebraska. I only want to show it to people in the Northeast. So now I'm exposing my message and my creative or my post or whatever it is to an audience that I would not have access to otherwise. But again, think about the social media advertising piece of it being so able to be so specifically targeted. I'm not putting an ad in a real estate journal for anybody and everybody to see it. Maybe they're interested, maybe they're in the market, maybe they're not. With social and a lot of online digital paid channels, you pay when someone clicks your ad, which means they're engaged, they're interested, and you're going to pay for that person's engagement rather than a billboard on the highway, which is going to be seen by 95% of the audience that has no interest in what you do at all. The specific targeting is so powerful on these social platforms that, and again, for $300 or $500 a month, it's pretty impressive. So
yeah, I think that's definitely something that's exciting to talk about and think about, because as we get more clarity in what we've done over the last 9 months to a year, we have the ability to be more finite in the types of things we're looking for. So it's definitely something that we're interested in as a company, and I think that it's interesting that I don't believe, like you said, that that the spend needs to be huge to get it started, and
how much, and that from a business owner's perspective, people ask us all the time, how much do we spend? And I say, well, let's work backwards from the end goal that you're trying to achieve. Let's say you could land for yourself, for Century, you want to land 5 new listings in a year that are relatively directly attributable to whatever we spend on a paid ad campaign. So what's your close rate? How often do you actually close and get a listing signed? And how many people did you need to meet with and interview in order to get those 5, let's say? How many people did you need to expose your message to in order to do that? What does it cost typically to go through that whole sales process? And then all the way back at the beginning, okay, so if I spend $500 a month, and importantly too, what's the value of that listing? So if I spent $500 a month, $6,000 a year, and I got only half of that. I got 2 listings or 3 listings at the end of the year as a result of that campaign. And obviously there are more expenses to it than just
sure
placement, but you know, you look at that and you can say, wow, with $6,000 investment in a couple of posts that I already know by looking at the post on LinkedIn, it's already doing well. People are interested in this post. I can repurpose that a little bit, put a little money behind it, and land a deal that's going to net us 10 or 20 or whatever the big commission is, or whatever that is, that
sure
goal, financial goal is. It's not rocket science. It's just a matter of putting those pieces in place, thinking about it very logically, and again, all importantly, making sure that the message you're putting out there is something that is going to resonate and engage people, resonate with.
Nice. Yeah, I think it's a great concept. So I appreciate it, Adam, and enjoy the day, and we'll catch up soon.
Sounds good.
All right.
Take care.
You.